I'm going to give you some live examples of presentations, some good and some mistakes that have actually that people do, right? So let's open up some of the presentation. And now this is a presentation that I was talking about, in which we were actually presenting the alternative investment hedge fund product to customers. And you can try to go through each of these slides, and I'll actually attach this as a part of the resources, and you can go through the presentation again. But I will just pinpoint on a couple of mistakes that are so evident, because of which probably a lot of customers did not convert, right? So, for example, let me come back to the performance table, and you can see out here a retail investor, even if the person is going to invest even $25,000, right, is not really going to understand, the asset class comparison in terms of returns, right? So again, if you can see here, this is much more focused towards a technical audience, not for a retail audience, right? If you look at this, it's too much text. Nobody's. I mean, how are you going to explain this, right? It's very difficult, right? So again, the problem with this presentation is that it is not decided on what exactly does it want to communicate to the customer, right? The strategy, right? It really, again, if you look at the presentation that I showed you on DSP BlackRock, it did not talk about the strategy, but out here we're talking about strategy. Again, the retail customer is not going to understand this. In fact, we had presented this to a product manager of DSP also, who also was clueless on what exactly we didn't want to present, right? So if you see out here, too technical, it's more geared towards probably a trader, not really towards a retail audience who does not understand this and just wants to keep the money, right? So you can clearly see the issue, right? The issue is too technical, not getting to the point on why. And if you see, there's not even one slide in which we're talking about why you should invest with us. What is that game that we are playing? What that unique thing that we are doing in this strategy that makes us apart from anyone else, right? So that's one example, right? And if I show you the DSP BlackRock presentation out there, this is in PDF format, not the PPT format. So I'm just gonna make it bigger. Okay. So again, this is also on a similar line as us, but as you can see out here, it's much more easier to understand, right? So how do they generate? It's something that anybody can read and try to understand, right? Compared to all the technical graphs which we made in our presentation, which was very difficult to understand, right? So okay, so if you look at here, the key highlights of the fund, so you can clearly understand what is the investment objective, what is the investment that's supposed to be done. This is the best present. This is the best slide of which actually tried to explain how the long short fund actually works, right? If you look at the portfolio, obviously this presentation is not entirely for very retail audiences. It is still for an institutional investor who somewhat understands what investment is and how does general investment work. But if you look at the presentation, this is much better presentation in terms of the understanding of the audience, and obviously the one who has actually made this has given some time to understand that.